is Antonio here?
Ready, so please your grace.
I am sorry for thee. Thou art come to answer a stony adversary, an inhuman wretch, incapable of pity, void and empty of any dram of mercy.
I have heard your grace hath ta'en great pains to qualify his rigorous course. But since he stands obdurate, and that no lawful means can carry me out of his envy's reach, I do oppose my patience to his fury, and am armed to suffer with the quietness of spirit the very tyranny and rage of his.
Go one and call the Jew into court.
He's ready at the door. Here comes my lord.
Let him stand before our face. Shylock, the world thinks so, and I think so too, that thou wilt but leave thy fashion of thy malice to last part of the act. Then 'tis thought thou wilt show thy mercy and remorse. More strange than is thy strange apparent cruelty. And where thou exacts the penalty, which is the pound of this poor merchant's flesh, thou wilt not only lose the forfeiture, but touched with human gentleness and love, forgive a moiety of the principal, glancing an eye of pity upon his losses, which have late so huddled on his back, enough to press a royal merchant down, and pluck commiseration of his state from brassy bosoms and rough hearts, from stubborn Turks and Tartars who have never trained in offices of tender courtesy. We all expect a gentle answer, Jew.
I have possessed your grace of what I purpose, and by our holy Sabbath have I sworn to have the due and forfeit of my bond. If you deny it, let the danger light upon your charter and your city's freedom. You'll ask me why I rather choose to have a weight of carrion flesh than to receive 3,000 ducats. I'll not answer that, but say it is my humor. Is it answered? But what if my house be troubled with a rat, and I be pleased to give 10,000 ducats to have it banned? What, are you answered yet? Some men there are not love a gaping pig, some that are mad if they behold a cat, and others, when the bagpipe sings in the nose, cannot contain themselves, for affection, mistress of passion, sways it to the mood of what it likes or loathes. Now, for your answer. As there is no firm reason to be rendered why he cannot abide like a gaping pig, why he, a harmless necessary cat, why he, a woolen bagpipe, but of force, must yield to such inevitable shame as to offend, himself being offended, more than a lodged hate and a certain loathing that I bear Antonio, that I follow thus a losing suit against him. Are you answered?
This is no excuse, thou unfeeling man, to excuse the current of thy cruelty.
I am not bound to please thee with my answer.
Do all men kill the things they do not love?
Hates any man the thing he would not kill?
Every offense is not a hate at first.
What, would thou have a serpent sting thee twice?
I pray you, think you question with the Jew? You may as well go stand upon the beach and bid the main flood bait his usual height. You may as well use question with the wolf, why he made the ivy bleat for the lamb. You may as well forbid the mountain pines to wag their high tops and make no noise when they are fretting with the gusts of heaven. You may as well do anything most hard as seek to soften that, than which that's harder his Jewish heart. Therefore, I do beseech you, make no more offers, use of further means, but with all brief and plain conveniency, let me have judgment, and the Jew his will.
For thy 3,000 ducats, here's 6.
If every ducat in 6,000 ducats were in 6 parts, and every part a ducat, I would not draw them. I would have my bond.
How shalt thou hope for mercy, rendering none?
What judgment shall I dread? Doing no wrong? You have many among you purchased slaves, which like your asses, your dogs, your mules, you use in abject and in slavish parts because you bought them. Shall I say to you, let them be free, marry them to your heirs. Why sweat they under burdens? Let their beds be made as soft as yours, and let their palates be seasoned with viands. You will answer, the slaves are ours. So do I answer, the pound of flesh which I demand of him is dearly bought. 'Tis mine, and I will have it. There is no decrease in the forces of Venice. I stand for judgment. Answer, shall I have it?
On my power I may dismiss the court, unless Bellario, a learned doctor, whom I have sent to determine this, come here today. Bring us the letters, call the messenger.
My lord, here stays without a messenger with letters from the doctor. You come from Padua.
Good cheer, Antonio. What, man? Courage yet. The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones and all, or thou shalt lose for me one drop of blood.
I am a tainted wether of the flock, meetest for death. The weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground, and so let me. You cannot be better employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write mine epitaph.
Came you from Padua, from Bellario?
From both, my lord. Bellario greets your grace.
Why dost thou whet thy knife so honestly?
To cut the forfeiture from that bankrupt there.
Not on thy soul, but on thy soul, harsh Jew. Thou makest thy knife keen, but no metal can. No, not the hangman's axe bear half the keenness as thy sharp envy. Can no prayers pierce thee?
No, none that thou hast wit enough to make.
O be thou damned, inexorable dog, and for thy life let justice be accused. Thou almost makest me waver in my own faith, to hold opinion with Pythagoras, that the souls of animals infuse themselves into the trunks of men. Thy currish spirit, who governed a wolf, hanged for human slaughter. Even from the gallows did his fell soul fleet, and as thy layest in thy unhallowed dam, infused itself in thee. For thy desires are wolfish, bloody, starved, and ravenous.
Till thou canst rail the seal from off my bond. Thou but offense thy lungs to speak so loud. Prepare thy wit, good youth, or it will fall to cureless ruin. I stand here for law.
This letter from Bellario doth commend a young and learned doctor. Where is he?
He attendeth here, hard by, to know your answer whether you will admit him.
With all my heart. Some 3 or 4 of you go give him courteous conduct. Meanwhile, the court shall hear Bellario's letter.
Your Grace shall understand that at the receipt of your letter I am very sick. But in the instant that your messenger came in loving visitation was with me a young doctor of Rome. His name is Balthazar. I acquainted him with the cause in controversy between the Jew and Antonio the merchant. We turned over many books together. He is furnished with my opinion, which is bettered with his own learning. The greatness whereof I cannot enough commend comes with him at my importunity to fill up your gracious request in my stead. I beseech you, let his lack of years be no impediment to let him lack a reverend estimation. For I never knew so young a body with so old a head. I leave him to your gracious acceptance, whose style shall better publish a commendation.
The learner Bellario, what he writes. And here I take it is the doctor come. Give me your hand. Come you from old Bellario?
I did, my lord.
You are welcome. Take your place. Are you acquainted with the difference that holds the present question in court?
I am informed thoroughly of the cause. Which is the merchant here, and which the Jew?
Antonio and Shylock both stand forth.
Is your name Shylock?
Shylock is my name.
Of a strange nature is the suit you follow, yet in such rule that the Venetian law cannot impugn you as you do proceed. You stand within his danger, do you not?
Aye, so he says.
Do you confess the bond?
I do.
Then must the Jew be merciful.
On what compulsion must I? Tell me that.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes a throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, an attribute to awe and majesty. Wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings, but mercy is above the sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself. And earthly power doth then show likest gods, when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I speak thus much to mitigate the justice for thy plea, which if thou follow, this strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there.
My deeds upon my head. I crave the law, the penalty, and forfeit of my bond.
Is he not able to discharge the money?
Yes, here I tender it for him in court. Yeah, twice the sum. If that will not suffice, I will be bound to pay it 10 times over, on the forfeit of my hands, my head, and my heart. If that will not suffice, it must appear that malice bears down truth. And I beseech you, rest once the law to your authority, to do a great right, do a little wrong, and curb this cruel devil of his will.
It must not be. There is no power in Venice can alter a decree established. 'Twill be recorded for a precedent. And many an error by the same example will rush into the state. It cannot be.
A Daniel come to judgment. Yeah, a Daniel. Oh, wise young judge, how I do honor thee.
I pray you, let me look upon the bond.
Here it is, most reverend doctor, here it is.
Shylock, thus thrice thy money offered thee.
An oath, I have an oath in heaven. Shall I lay perjury upon my soul? No, not for Venice.
Why, this bond is forfeit, and lawfully by this the Jew may claim a pound of flesh to be by him cut off nearest the merchant's heart. Be merciful, take thrice thy money, bid me tear the bond.
When it is paid according to the tenor, it doth appear you are a worthy judge. You know the law, your exposition hath been most sound. I charge you by the law, whereof you are a well-deserving pillar. Proceed to judgment. By my soul I swear, there is no power in the tongue of man to alter me. I stay here on my bond.
Most heartily I do beseech the court to give the judgment.
Why then, thus it is, you must prepare your bosom for his knife.
Oh noble judge, oh excellent young man.
For the intent and purpose of the law hath full relation to the penalty, which here appeareth due upon the bond.
'Tis very true,
O wise and upright judge, how much more elder art thou than thy looks?
Therefore lay bare your bosom.
His breast. So says the bond, doth it not, noble judge? Nearest his heart. Those are the very words.
It is so. Are there balance here to weigh the flesh?
I have them ready.
Have by some surgeon Shylock on your charge to stop his wounds lest he do bleed to death.
Is it so nominated in the bond?
It is not so expressed, but what of that? 'Twere good you do so much for charity.
I cannot find it. 'Tis not in the bond.
Come, merchant, have you anything to say?
But little, I am armed and well prepared. Give me your hand, Bassanio. Fare you well. Grieve not I am fallen to this for you, for herein fortune shows herself more kind than is her custom. It is still her use to let the wretched man outlive his wealth, to view with hollow eye and wrinkled brow an age of poverty, from which lingering penance had not she cut me off. Commend me to your honourable wife. Tell her the process of Antonio's end. Say how I loved you, speak me fair in death. And when the tale is told, bid her be the judge that the Bassanio had not once a love. Repent not that you shall lose a friend, and he repents not that he pays your debt. Further, if the Jew do cut deep enough, I'll pay it instantly with all my heart.
Antonio, I'm married to a wife, which is dear to me as life itself. But life itself, my wife, and all the world are not esteemed above thy life. I would lose all, sacrifice them all, here to this devil to deliver you.
Your wife would give you little thanks for that if she were by, to hear you make the offer.
I have a wife whom I protest I love. I would she were in heaven, so she could entreat some power to change this cursed Jew.
'Tis well that you offer it behind her back. The wish would else make an unquiet house.
These be the Christian husbands? I have a daughter. Would any of the stock of Barabbas have been a husband than a Christian? Beautiful time, I pray thee, pursue sentence.
A pound of that same merchant's flesh is thine. The court awards it, and the law doth give it.
Most rightful judge.
A pound of that same merchant's flesh is thine. The court awards it, and the law doth give it.
Most learned judge, a sentence. Come, prepare.
Tarry a little, there is something else. This bond doth give thee here no jot of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. Take thy bond, take thy the pound of flesh. But in cutting it, if thou dost shed one drop of Christian blood, thy lands and goods, by the laws of Venice, are confiscate unto the state of Venice.
O upright judge! Mark Jew, O learned judge!
Is that the law?
Thyself shalt see the act. For as thou urgest justice, be assured, thou shalt have justice, much more than thou desirest.
O learned judge! Mark Jew, learned judge!
I'll take this offer then. Pay the bond thrice and let the Christian go.
Here is the money.
O Jew, an upright judge, a learned judge.
Soft, the Jew shall have all justice, soft, no haste. He will have nothing but the penalty. Therefore, prepare thee to cut off the flesh. Shed thou no blood. Now cut thou less, now more, with just a pound of flesh. If thou cutst more or less than just a pound, be it so much as makes it light or heavy in substance, or the division of the 20th part of one poor scruple, nay, if the scale do turn but in the estimation of a hair, thou diest, and thy goods are confiscate.
A second Daniel, a Daniel Jew, now infidel, I have thee on the hip.
Why doth the Jew pause? take thy forfeiture.
Give me my principal and let me go.
I have it ready for thee. Here it is.
He hath refused it in the open court. He shall have merely justice and his bond.
Daniel, still I say, O second Daniel, I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word.
I not badly harm my principal.
Thou shalt have nothing but the forfeiture, to be so taken at your peril, Jew.
Why? Then the devil give him good of it. I say, no longer in question.
Tarry, Jew, the law hath yet another hold on you. It is enacted upon the laws of Venice that if it be proved against an alien, that by direct or indirect attempts he seek the life of any citizen, the party against which he doth contrive shall seize one half of his goods, and the other lies in the privy coffer of the state. And the offender's life shall lie in the mercy of the Duke only, against all other voice. In which predicament I say thou standest, for it appears by manifest proceedings, that directly and indirectly too, thou hast contrived against the very life of the defendant, and hast incurred the danger formerly by me rehearsed. Down therefore beg mercy of the Duke.
Beg that thou mayest have to leave to hang thyself, and yet, thy wealth being forfeit to the state, thou hast not left the value of a cord. Therefore thou must be hanged at the state's charge.
That thou shalt see the difference of our spirit. I pardon thee thy life before thou ask it, for half thy wealth is Antonio's. The other half comes to my general state, which humbleness may drive unto a file.
I for the state, no for Antonio.
Nay, take my life and all, pardon not that. You take my house, when you do, take the prop. That thou sustain my house. You take my life, when you do, take the means whereby I live.
What mercy can you render him, Antonio?
A halter gratis, nothing else, for God's sake.
So please, my lord, the Duke and all the court to quit the fine for one half of his goods. I am content, so he will let me have the other half in use to render it upon his bed unto the gentleman that lately stole his daughter. Two things provided more, that for this favor he presently become a Christian. The other, that he do record a gift here in the court of all he dies possessed unto his son Lorenzo and his daughter.
He shall do this, or else I do recant the pardon that I late pronounced here.
Art thou contented, Jew? What dost thou say? Clerk, draw deed of gift.
I pray you, give me leave to go from hence. Not well. Send a deed after me, and I will sign it.
Get thee gone, but do it.
In christening shalt thou have 2 godfathers. Had I been judge, thou shouldst have had 10 more, to bring thee to the gallows, not to the font.
Sir, I entreat thee home with me to dinner.
I humbly do desire your grace of pardon. I must away this night toward Padua, and it is meet that I presently set forth.
I am sorry that your leisure serves you not. Antonio, gratify this gentleman, for in my mind you are much bound to him.
Most worthy gentlemen, I and my friend have by your wisdom been this day acquitted of grievous penalties, in lieu whereof 3,000 ducats, due unto the Jew, we freely cope your courteous pains withal.
And stand indebted over and above, in love and service to you evermore.
He is well paid, that is well satisfied, and I, delivering to you, am well satisfied, and therein do account myself well paid. My mind was never yet more mercenary. I pray you, know me when we meet again. I wish you well, and so I take my leave.
Dear sir, of force I must attend you further. Take some remembrance of us. As a tribute, not as a fee. Grant me 2 things, I pray you, not to deny me and to pardon me.
You press me far, and therefore I will yield. Give me your gloves, I will wear them for your sake, and for your love, I'll take this ring from you. Do not draw back your hand, I'll take no more. And in love, you shall not deny me this.
This ring? Good sir, alas, it is a trifle. I shall not shame myself to give you this.
I will have nothing but only this. And now, methinks, I have a mind to it.
There is more depends on this than on the value. The dearest ring in Venice will I give you, and find it out by proclamation. Only for this, I pray you, pardon me.
I see, sir, you are liberal in your offers. You first taught me to beg, and now methinks you teach me how a beggar should be answered.
Dear sir, this ring was given me by my wife, and when she put it on, she made me vow that I should neither sell nor give nor lose it.
That excuses many men to save their gifts. And if your wife be not a mad woman, and knew how well I have deserved the ring, she would not hold out enemy forever for giving it to me. Well, peace be with you.
My lord Bassanio, let him have the ring. Let his deservings and my love withal be valued against a wise commandment.
Go, Gresham, run and overtake him. Give him the ring and bring him if you can unto Antonia's house. Away, make haste. Come, now you and I will thither presently, and in the morning early will we fly to Belmont. Come, Antonia.